camping, a chance to escape the noise of everyday life and immerse yourself in nature. But when the sun sets and the forest grows dark, the wilderness can transform into a place of unexplainable terror. Tonight, we'll explore real-life paranormal encounters experienced by campers, stories that will make you think twice about spending the night in the great outdoors. Gather around the fire and let's begin. Story 1. The Screaming Woods. Deep in the UK lies Daring Wood, also known as the Screaming Woods. For Jane, a seasoned solo camper and YouTuber, it seemed like the perfect place to find solitude. The thick woodland silence offered an escape from her busy life. But from the moment Jane set up camp, something felt off. As darkness fell, the silence grew oppressive. At first, faint whispers floated through the air, so quiet they could have been tricks of the wind. Jane dismissed them, focusing on her dinner and preparing for a peaceful night. Around 2 a.m., Jane's peace was shattered. She heard it, soft, deliberate footsteps circling her tent.
There's been a person or persons. What the fuck? I've never wanted the morning to come as much as I do right now.
Her heart pounded as she froze in place, too afraid to even turn on her flashlight. As the footsteps grew louder, she became convinced it wasn't just one person, but multiple figures moving just beyond the thin walls of her tent. The whispers returned, louder this time. Paralyzed by fear, Jane prayed for dawn. When the first rays of sunlight pierced the trees, she gathered her belongings and fled the woods, breathless and shaken. To this day, Jane refuses to return to Daring Wood, haunted by the memory of the footsteps and whispers in the dark. Story 2. A Night in the Van. Sean, another adventurous camper and YouTuber, often traveled in his van, seeking quiet, remote spots to park overnight. On one particular trip, he parked near a dense forest, miles from civilization. The day passed uneventfully, and as night fell, Sean settled in for a peaceful sleep. But just after 3 a.m., he was jolted awake by the sound of a car pulling up nearby. Then came footsteps, slow, heavy steps, moving around his van. Sean's pulse quickened as he quietly peeked out from behind his curtains. The figures near his van suddenly retreated to their car and sped off into the night. Feeling uneasy, Sean drifted back to sleep. The next morning, he made a shocking discovery. His van doors wouldn't open. Upon closer inspection, he realized they had been zip-tied shut during the night. Someone had deliberately trapped him inside. While he managed to cut himself free, the motive behind the act remains a chilling mystery. Story 3. Haunted Cave. Expedition Matt, an adventurous YouTuber, decided to spend a night in a cave rumored to be haunted. Known among locals for its eerie legends, the cave was said to be a place where strange sounds and sightings were common. As Matt descended into the cave, he immediately felt a sense of unease. The air was cold and still, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Hours later, as he tried to sleep, the unsettling noises began. First, there was the sound of chains rattling. Then came a deep, echoing hum that sent shivers down Matt's spine. By midnight, Matt was wide awake, documenting the bizarre sounds that seemed to come from nowhere. At one point, he swore he saw movement, a shadow passing just beyond the reach of his flashlight. Yet, no one was there. Despite the fear coursing through him, Matt stayed until dawn, documenting every chilling moment. To this day, he questions what might have been lurking in that cave. Story 4. Stalked in the forest. Daniel, an experienced camper, was enjoying a quiet evening in the woods when his peaceful night turned into a nightmare. As he sat by his campfire, savoring his dinner, he heard it. Slow, human-like footsteps crunching through the forest floor. He called out, "Hello?" But there was no response. The footsteps stopped abruptly. Trying to brush off his unease, Daniel resumed his meal, but the footsteps returned louder and closer this time. His instincts screamed for him to leave, And as the sun set, Daniel packed up his gear and retreated to safety. While he never saw anyone that night, the unsettling sounds have left him questioning who or what was out there. Story 5. Notes, a dead duck, and a haunting presence on the Appalachian Trail. Phil stumbled upon a series of cryptic notes scattered along his route. The notes were bizarre, filled with strange ramblings and random musings. What truly unnerved Phil was what accompanied one of these notes: a recently killed duck, lying eerily still beside the trail. The sight left him rattled, but he decided to press on. Later that night, as Phil rested at a shelter, the eeriness followed him. He heard faint footsteps circling his campsite. Every time he thought the sounds stopped, they would start again. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, Phil cut his trip short, leaving the Appalachian Trail with more questions than answers. Story 6. The Midnight Screams. One December night, a forest dweller recorded a series of blood-curdling screams coming from deep within the woods. The audio captured not only the high-pitched cries of what sounded like a child, but also a faint male voice yelling, "Where are you?" The screams echoed through the night, leaving the recorder and everyone who later heard the audio deeply disturbed. Despite checking local news reports, no explanation was ever found for the sounds. What happened in those woods that night remains a chilling mystery. Was it a tragic accident, a sinister act, or something even more unexplainable? Story 8. The Vanishing Camper. In September 2023, Jacob Edris, a solo camper, ventured into the deep woods of Oregon for what he thought would be a routine camping trip. Jacob was an experienced outdoorsman, but as the night fell, his confidence began to waver. He was lost, stumbling through the pitch-black forest, clutching his flashlight for comfort. As he navigated the eerie terrain, Jacob stumbled upon something chilling, a bizarre tree formation with a white, knot-like object at its center. The sight sent shivers down his spine. He felt it then, the oppressive sensation of being watched. Jacob's camera captured his panicked voice as he called out into the night, but no one answered. Hours passed, and Jacob vanished without a trace. His belongings and camera were recovered weeks later by park rangers, but Jacob himself was never found. The footage on his camera remains one of the most haunting glimpses into the unknown, a tragic reminder of the dangers lurking in the wilderness. If these tales of terror kept you on edge, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more bone-chilling stories. Hit the like button and tap the bell icon to make sure you never miss an unsettling tale. Until next time, happy camping, and remember, sometimes it's not the forest you need to fear, it's what's hiding within.